Hiya folks, JD here, and today we are looking at this. This is the Bayangtoys X21, and it is a colossal GPS quadcopter. Okay, let's open this up and have a little look inside. Right, here we go. You get a lot of stuff with this. So what I've done is I've put everything out in front of me. If you can't see it, then that's okay, because I'll be bringing it up to the camera to show you as I attach everything. Now, just to let you know a couple of points about this. You get a lot of stuff with this. This is £145. Now, I have taken this out already and tried to fly it. As I was mid in air, this particular locking nut that sits on top of the propellers just to lock everything down came flying off, and the whole quadcopter fell out of the sky and landed on the floor. Now, the quadcopter itself, from a build perspective, looks absolutely fine. There's no cracks, there's no dents, everything else looks okay. But just to let you know that that has actually happened, when you do come to put on these little nuts, please ensure they're on very, very, very tight. I put on what I considered to be tight, and then the top flew off. So I'm going to ensure that when I put these next bit on, that they are going to be on extremely, extremely tight. Now, I did have to get another one of these. I did have to pick it up from Banggood, so that's why it's been a while between me this arriving and me actually showing it on the channel. So it has taken about 6 days for these to arrive from China. I did expedite them over as quickly as they could possibly get here. Now they are here. Let's carry on. So, this is what the quadcopter looks like. Let me just adjust this camera ever so slightly. There we go. This is what the quadcopter looks like. It's a very standard sort of quadcopter, photography quadcopter style. So obviously we have our 4 propeller arms here. We have our brushless motors sitting at the front and the back. Now, these brushless motors are extremely powerful, and they do give you a hell of a kick when you fly. Now, that being said, these propellers, along with this particular motors, you are going to ensure, you have to ensure rather, that you stay away from these when they start to spin. These spin at such a rate, it really did take me by surprise. Not only that, but if you rub your finger ever so slightly on the outside here of the propeller, you will notice that the propeller itself is very sharp. So please take care when you are handling this particular quadcopter, once you've unlocked the motors and when you're about to fly. Now, this quadcopter does come with a camera. The camera is here. We have to fit that, and what we'll do is, before we put the propellers on, we are going to fit this camera. Now, I have come across a few camera assemblies over the years, and some of them have been quite easy, others have been quite annoying. This falls in the annoying camp. So essentially what you've got your lens of your camera, you've got your 1080p camera assembly here, you've got a little micro USB cable here that just connects into the camera, and then this particular plug plugs into the socket underneath, there are the white socket right there, underneath the quadcopter, and then the quadcopter's massive 2200 milliamp hour 11.1 volt battery powers this thing. Now, as you can see, it's on a gimbal, but the gimbal itself doesn't move. It does move, it's not automatic. You have got to unscrew this screw in order to position whatever you want and then lock it back in place. You can also let go of the camera by undoing this particular clip, and the camera does slot out. Now, you have got to do that, be warned, when you first take her up, because there's a little SD card here which you need to put in. Now, it doesn't come with the quadcopter, but you do need one in order to record. We are going to have a little look at the phone app as well, which we'll have a little look at the end of this video. So to fit this on, there is only one way it can fit on. These little grooves here, either side, just slot into these little grooves here, and then once it's in, it does hold itself extremely well. But what I found is actually getting them both aligned and getting them both in is an absolute nightmare. So what I'm going to do is just line up one, line up the other, and try, because what I found is when you put one side in, the other side unclips. Okay, come on. Come on. Come on. Now, if this does take me too long, I am going to have to shorten this sequence, but essentially you've just got a runner style affair. Oh my god, I've done it in one hit. I don't believe it. Look at that, that's the shortest time that's taken me. So essentially you've got the runners on the quadcopter and the runners on the camera. They both slot in. As they slot in, it is so sturdy. You've got a little bit of bounce from this anti-jello gimbal there, but there we go. That's all connected. Now you've got your plug and your cable, and the plug just connects into the socket here. Sorry about the fingers, folks. And then it's the only socket on here, and then what you've got to do is just pop that in, nice and secure, nice and tight, and that's it. Plug in socket, camera mounted, job done. As we're at the bottom of the quadcopter, I'll turn this over. On and off button here. When you first turn on this quadcopter, once you've plugged in the battery on the back here, you are going to notice, even with it off, the quadcopter starts to make noise. With it off, it's not in calibration mode, therefore you're not going to be able to calibrate it. The quadcopter isn't going to be able to do anything. So flick it to on. Once it's on, then you can start to calibrate it. So let's just leave that off. So far, this is what the quadcopter looks like. So we have our body, we have a little GPS antenna at the top here, and then we have our camera sitting here. Now, when we come to fit these propellers themselves fit in the same way as any other quadcopter. A, B, B, and it's all diagonal. So you've got, on the underside of the propellers, you've got a little number and a letter. So you've got A1 and B2. So B2 just fits onto B. Now there is a little notch in the bottom of these propellers, and then this little notch just fits onto these motors. So just spin them around ever so gently until you notice the propeller locks in place, a little bit like this. There we are, and then you'll start to see the motor housing turns with it. So then you should just be able to push that down. It only takes a couple of seconds, it just ensures the propellers are on in the way that they should be connected. There we go, there's another one. And then the final one, which is A1. And the way that I'm connecting these is the same way as I do all propellers, and that is with the letter and the number on the underside of the quadcopter. Now, when it comes to attaching these particular lock-in nuts, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put silver ones on B and the black ones on A. I pretty much think that it was the other way around when I did it last time, but because of the accident and because I am quite a superstitious man, I am going to just move these around a little bit just so that they're not on the same propellers. Then what I'm going to use this time is a little screwdriver, something you don't get with this, and then I'm going to put the screwdriver through the holes here and then twist until they are extremely tight. Now those things aren't coming off at all. Now I tightened them to begin with, not as tight as that because I didn't want to put too much of a strain on these particular lock-in nuts and on these motors as well. Sorry, propellers as I'm turning, but as they did come off, I'm not taking any chance, no chances at all. That's one thing I absolutely, when I first started flying quadcopters, I was so paranoid of anything coming off them because I've always tried to ensure my videos show safe flight, as safe as I could possibly make it. There we go. Come on. Just got to turn that around a little bit so I get a different angle on here. There we go. So now we've got the propellers are all on, the lock-in nuts are all on, and this is what it looks like so far. Oh, it's a really good looking drone, this is. If it wasn't that, honestly, having one of these fly off and then the propeller coming off mid-air really has thrown me. Really has thrown me. I mean, I've had a couple of accidents, don't get me wrong. You know, I've been doing this for many years and you can't get away unscathed, but it just does make you really feel a little bit on edge. Right, so that's the drone. So the battery itself, let me show you a couple of other things about this. The battery itself is in the battery bay at the back. The battery is colossal, as I said. Comes in at 11.1 volts, 22, oh, come on, oh, there we go, 2200 milliamp hour. Problem is that you've got the actual connector on the battery and you've also got the charging connector on it as well, which means that it is an absolute nightmare to get out of here. Oh, come on. There we go. Pull both the connectors out first and then the battery comes out. Look at the size of that thing. This gives you 16 minutes of flight, which is good. I like a long fly experience. This is going to give us some good flight when we take it out. I'm really excited about that. It takes about 3 hours to charge though, but if you get 16 minutes, that's a lot better than some standard quads, so I'm very happy with that. So I'm going to leave that open because I have to charge this and this will remind me. So there we go. Right. Oh, so there's the quadcopter. Now, How much does this weigh? Well, obviously, as I'm sure you can see, this is not going to fit anywhere near on our scales, our weighing scales, but I can tell you this, it's over 400 grams. So if you've got a 250 gram limit, unfortunately guys, this is going to be over it. So yeah, it's a very weighty bird. Okay, so I'm going to do, because my table is quite small, I'm going to move this onto the floor for now, because the next bit I've got to show you is quite important. This is the transmitter. It's a standard transmitter. You've got a load of different buttons on this, absolute hundreds of them, and it really does need quite a bit of attention, this transmitter does. Now, what we're going to look at first is the button layout, then we're going to come back and look at this, because this confused me for so long. So, what we're going to do is we're going to have a little look first. We've got the power on and off switch just here, on LED sitting there, obviously left and right analog sticks. This is GPS, so therefore the left analog stick just does go, it does recenter back into the middle there. We have our standard lanyard hook there as well. Now we've got our trim buttons on the outside, that's pretty standard. We've got these two buttons down here. Now these two buttons here, we are looking at follow me and we are looking at surround, so when it actually goes around you. So we've got follow me and surround, and now we're on to this D-pad sort of affair. So this D-pad here, you've got photograph, top one, then you've got headless mode, then you've got camera, and that's what it says is camera. I don't know camera what, I'll have to test that. The button in the middle is one key return, and then the button all the way out to the other end there is GPS switch. So whatever that means, we'll have to have a little look. Oh, I think the GPS switch toggles GPS on and off, so you actually use the compass or you just use the built-in barometer. Honestly, keep it on GPS. You know, it's equipped, it has a compass, use it. Now, when it comes to using this FPV boom, this FPV boom clips in. Now, I couldn't figure out how or where, because it doesn't obviously fit on top of the antenna there, because it doesn't go on at all. What you've got to do is pull off this antenna. Now, this antenna is just a little bit of plastic. Here's the actual antenna inside the transmitter there. So keep that inside, nice and safe. This little square hole here is where this fits in. So I put the antenna, align it properly, and then clip that in. And that's it. Now, it doesn't tell you that in the manual. I couldn't find that anywhere. All I could find was a picture of before and after. So it confused the hell out of me until when I picked up the transmitter by accident it came off. And therefore, there we are, that's how that fits on. It's as simple as that, once you know. 6 AA batteries will power this transmitter. This transmitter does not allow charging of any sort, so therefore you are going to have to ensure the batteries in here are fully charged and shop bought before you take her up. Right, so that's the transmitter. Feels quite nice, feels quite sturdy. Actually looks quite nice as well, nice matte black finish, and the plastic doesn't creak when you push it, and that is something I really like, because a lot of these transmitters feel quite sturdy, but you go to push them and then they just dip and they bow, and it's not a good sensation. This though, this feels good. So that's the transmitter. Let's put that to one side. You also get your manual, and you also get a little slip there with a QR code where you can get the manual, the app for Android and for iOS as well. Accessories wise, you get 4 spare propellers. That's always handy, especially the size of these things as well. That's always a good thing. And that's pretty much everything that you get with this particular quadcopter. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but obviously we have fitted pretty much everything that you get. Now, with that, let's clear this area and let's have a quick little look at this app. Okay, so here we go. Once you launch the app, this is what you get. A picture of a jumbo jet. You've got help, settings, and you've got play. Once you hit play, this is what you get. Now, first things first, I don't know if you notice up here, photo and video, but underneath the photo and the video image is SD card. So that's reminding you to have an SD card in the camera, otherwise you can't record. It won't record onto smartphone. I'll be recording my screen as well as recording onto the camera, so we can have a little look and compare the two. Now, then we have the next button, looks at all of your local footage as well as the footage on your card. You've got 30, 60 and 100% here for your speed modes. You've got altitude hold on, 360 flips, gyro control, on or off should you want to control the quadcopter via your smartphone. You've also got 3D, so you can put this pure in FPV mode into a pair of FPV goggles, and you've also got settings as well as configure your gyro as well. That is something you're going to need from here. So that is just a very quick look at this particular application. So there we are, folks. This has been the Bayangtoys X21. I hope you'll join me in the next couple of days when we're going to be taking this guy up and putting him through his paces. Thank you ever so much for watching and listening. I've been JD, you've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying.